Good afternoon, everyone. We'll call this, special council meeting to order. You'll note that one of our colleagues is not able to be here today, and that's Councillor Yanetsky. He was traveling home and unfortunately has had car troubles that he's trying to resolve down stateside, and won't be here this afternoon or for the meeting of the old council, the final council meeting of the old council this evening. I do just want to share with the group for your consideration over the course of today the things that Councillor Yanetsky has indicated that he is interested in for committee's consideration, and they are as follows. Councillor Yanetsky is interested in chairing planning and strategic initiatives. Councillor Yanetsky is interested in sitting on Heritage Committee and believe it should be increased to 4 members again. Councillor Yanetsky is interested in Centre in the Square and believes it should still have 4 reps, and I know that's going to be an issue of conversation today in light of the fact that the legislation hasn't changed yet. Councillor Yanetsky is interested in sitting on the Belmont Village BIA, on the Court of Revision, and also on Hydro. He also indicated that he is interested in remaining seated where he presently is, because I know there has been some conversation around the seating arrangements. So I just wanted to put those on record so all of committee is aware of those, and you can govern yourselves accordingly as you're making your recommendations. We'll first deal with the issue of seating around the council horseshoe, and I understand that there is a desire to not proceed with the procedural bylaw, so and to make an amendment to that. So, Councillor Fernandez.
Yeah, I would like to amend that bylaw, and that we. I'm trying to think of the appropriate words. That we remain. That those of us who wish to remain in the seats that we are presently in are allowed to do so. Those that wish to change seating, that they do so with a throwing their names into a hat.
Well, I think we're going to need more clarity than that, because
that.
Number one, we need to have a motion to suspend the rules with respect to the assignment of seating. So if you're moving that, it's been seconded by Councillor Singh. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. And then the second issue that, as I understand the conversations have been, would be that Councillor Marsh would sit in the current Ward 10 seat. Councillor Schneider would sit in the current Ward 7 seat, and Councillor Ioannidis would sit in the current Ward 2 seat. I think is what the discussions have been.
Right.
So is that what you're moving?
That's what I'm moving.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Etherington. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried.
It's effective December 1st.
That's effective December 1st, so please go to your normal seats this evening. Okay, we'll now move on to the various appointments. Before we begin, I will note that there are 3 applicants who have exceeded their maximum of 8 consecutive years. For those applicants to be considered, it would require a 2/3 vote of the council-elect present. So that, I think, would mean 7 out of the 10 would have to agree to allow for those names to be considered again. Does somebody want to move that? Moved by Councillor Singh, seconded by Councillor Councillor Gazzola? You were on.
I'm sorry, I have another item that I would like you to bring.
Okay. Okay. On this or on some? Okay. Okay. It's been seconded by Councillor Fernandez. Yeah. Okay, and are you looking to speak?
Yes.
Okay, Councillor Fernandez, go ahead.
Are we understanding who those names are before we...
The three
Vote
names
on
are
that?
in your report, and they're Denny Cybulski, Andrew Head, and Bob McCall, who have all exceeded their 8 years.
Okay, so my... yeah, it's on... sorry, I have it, but I just have it underneath here. I would like not... Doesn't say, I don't mean I would like not to, but I think that Mr. Cybulski has been on Committee of Adjustment for upwards of 14 years. I understand that we have made exceptions in the past. I would not like to have him returned to the Committee of Adjustment.
Okay, so you're just moving Mr. Head and Mr. McCall at this point in time?
That's correct.
Okay, I'll take that motion, and then if somebody else feels that Mr. Cybulski should still remain on the list, I'll take a separate motion for that. I'll come to that then. So it has been moved in. Actually, Councillor Singh, were you moving all three or just two of them? You were moving all three. So you're not. Yeah, we'll do them. We'll deal with them separately then. Okay, we can. Okay, we'll do that then. Madam Clerk, is this something that we need a roll call vote, or is it just sufficient to do it by hands? Like, you don't need us using these for that? No. Okay. So all those in favor of Mr. Cybulski remaining on the list? And myself include, that's 8. So that, all those opposed? 2 opposed, that's carried. All those in favor of Mr. Head remaining on the list? That's carried unanimously. All those in favor of Mr. McCall remaining on the list? And that too is carried unanimously. Okay. With that, sorry? Councillor Gazzola, go ahead.
Yeah, no, if we're moving into committees and that, I wanted to bring a recommendation forward. I don't know what needs to happen on it to be, but I'd like it considered before we start. And that my recommendation deals with terms of office in these various committees. Over the years, I have seen where people become chairs or vice chairs of the committees, and they're there permanently or for life. And I would like to see a 2-year term, after which a person would move on to a different position or even perhaps a different committee. I'm thinking of the major committees. So that would be my recommendation.
Okay. I guess I'll just point out that the terms of the committees are 1 year at present, so Council does have the ability to change any of them every year. So what you're suggesting would then change it to 2-year terms for people?
Yes, I would, yes. And then that would give more people an opportunity to sit in leadership roles and that. So a 2-year term, yes.
Sorry? No, I realize that, but my point is, are you asking that we move from current practice of voting every year on who the chair or the vice chair is?
Well, I would think that would just follow. We wouldn't need to vote every year.
You want to vote every 2 years?
Every 2 years, yes.
Okay. Is there a seconder for that? That's seconded by... now, just from a procedural point of view, that motion was not on the table prior to today, and Councillor Yanetsky is not here. Does that require waiving notice of motion, or is that considered, Madam Clerk, consistent with the topics of what we're covering off today?
To dispense with notice of motion requires 8 members so 2/3 of the whole of council.
I appreciate that. I guess my question to you is this an issue that, because it wasn't on the agenda specifically today, that would require a notice of motion?
Yes, you would require a notice of motion to proceed with this.
Okay. So, Councilor Gazzola, if you want us to proceed with this, we would need to waive notice first and get support of 2/3 of council, or we can refer it to a subsequent council meeting for consideration, and we would proceed with 1-year terms for this year and then review it in advance for next year after council considers it. What's your desire?
Well, actually, I guess it's fine. It doesn't really have to be decided today.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you're giving notice?
Yes, then it can be dealt with at a later date.
Okay, so we'll bring it back to committee then at a later date, and we'll just take it as direction to staff. Okay, we'll then move on to the appointment process. Yeah, I'm just trying to see if there's any other issues before we get into that. I don't believe there is. For the benefit of the new committee members, you have ballots in front of you. The voting process is such that as we vote, all of these votes do get called out, and you basically write your choices on the ballot and give them to the clerk, and they'll read them all out, and the results will be posted or will be announced accordingly. The other point, once we get into the committee appointments amongst the public, I will just remind the group here that we did move to a situation where we have a nominating committee that's made up of people outside of the community or outside of the city proper, which includes the Director of Philanthropic Services for the KW Community Foundation, the Executive Director of the Multicultural Center, the CEO of the United Way, the Executive Director of Capacity Waterloo Region, and the CEO of the Greater KW Chamber of Commerce, and they were supported at a staff level by Ms. Tarling, our clerk, and Linda Carabo, her executive assistant and committee administrator. And so as we consider these, I guess I would just ask that council give a strong level of consideration to the recommendations of the committee. The intent of the process was to try to remove some of the politicization of it, but however, at the end of the day, it is council's prerogative to make the recommendations that they wish. But I would just advise that we may want to consider that. So with that, I will now move on to Community and Infrastructure Services, and I will take a motion for that. Councillor Fernandez.
Yep, I would like to nominate Councillor Gazzola for chair for the Community and Infrastructure Services Committee.
Okay. That's fine. Councillor Galloway-Seelock.
I would like to nominate Councillor Bill Ioannidis for chair of Community Infrastructure Services.
Okay. Any other nominations? No? Okay. So there's 2 names that have been put forward. If you can please vote for one of them, Councillor Gazzola or Councillor Ioannidis.
Schneider votes for Ioannidis. Singh, Ioannidis. Etherington, Ioannidis. Marsh, Ioannidis. Ioannidis, Ioannidis. Gazzola, Gazzola. Fernandez, Gazzola. Verbanovic, Ioannidis. Galloway Seelock, Ioannidis. Davy, Ioannidis.
Okay, we'll now move on to the vice chair then. Nominations. Councillor Fernandez.
I guess I'll try again. Councillor Gazzola for vice chair.
Okay, other nominations? Councillor Singh.
Councillor Etherington for vice chair.
Okay. Any other nominations? Okay, there don't appear to be any other nominations. Councillor Fernandez.
Councillor Singh for community and infrastructure services, please.
Sorry? You withdraw? Okay. Any other nominations? If not, then Councillor Etherington, you're the new vice chair of community and infrastructure services. Finance and corporate services, nominations, please. Councillor Ioannidis.
I nominate Councillor Scott Davey.
Okay. Councillor Fernandez.
I nominate Councillor Gazzola.
Okay. Any other nominations? Okay. If not, there's two people to vote for, Councillor Davey and Councillor Gazzola.
Schneider votes for Davy. Davy, Davy. Verbanovic, Davy. Marsh, Davy. Gazzola, Gazzola. Ioannidis, Davy. Fernandez, Gazzola. Galloway Seelock, Davy. Etherington, Davy. Singh, Davy.
Okay, we'll now move on to Vice Chair of Finance and Corporate Services, Councillor Galloway Seelock.
I nominate Councillor John Gazzola.
Okay. Other nominations? There don't appear to be any other nominations. Councillor Gazzola, you're the new Vice Chair of Finance and Corporate Services. Congratulations. Moving on, Planning and Strategic Initiatives. Councillor Fernandez.
I nominate Councillor Yanetsky.
Okay. Other nominations? Councillor Galloway Seelock.
I nominate Councillor Paul Singh.
Okay. So, any other nominations? Okay, we have two nominations before us. Councillor Yanetsky or Councillor Singh?
Schneider votes for Singh. Davy, Singh. Marsh, Yanetsky. Gazzola, Yanetsky. Ioannidis, Singh. Fernandez, Yanetsky. Verbanovic, Singh. Galloway Seelock, Singh. Etherington, Singh. Singh, Singh.
Okay, Councillor Singh, you're the new Chair of Planning and Strategic Initiatives. We'll now go on to Vice Chair. Councillor Gazzola.
I nominate Councillor Fernandez.
Councillor Fernandez. You turned yourself off.
Sorry, I did. I meant to.
Oh, you don't want to be on, okay.
Oh, no, I want to be on.
Okay, Councillor Fernandez, go ahead.
No, I mean, I didn't want to speak. It meant.
Okay, you want to, okay. Councillor Davey.
Sorry.
Sorry? Oh, sorry, my fault.
I nominate Councillor Galloway Seelock.
Okay. Any other nominations? If not, we have two before us, Councillor Fernandez and Councillor Galloway Seelock.
Councillor Singh votes for Galloway Seelock. Schneider, Galloway Seelock. Davey, Galloway Seelock. Gazzola, Fernandez. Marsh, Galloway Seelock. Ioannidis, Galloway Seelock. Fernandez, Fernandez. Verbanovic, Galloway Seelock. Galloway Seelock, Galloway Seelock. Etherington, Galloway Seelock.
Okay, Councillor Galloway Seelock is the new vice chair of the committee. Moving on then to the special committees of City Council, the Animal Designation Appeal Committee, always a very popular one. Councillor Singh.
Councillor Fernandez?
Okay, other nominees? We need at least one more and an alternate. Councillor Schneider.
Councillor Davey.
Councillor Davey was probably hoping that somebody, one of the new people would rise to the occasion, but other nominees. Councillor Fernandez.
To that point, Councillor Schneider as either the alternate or one of the.
Okay, so we have Davey, Fernandez, and Schneider so far. Sorry? Councillor Singh, you want to nominate someone?
Yeah, one more. Councillor Marsh?
Councillor Marsh. Okay. So, Madam Clerk, okay, first of all, do all four want to, Councillor Davey?
I just wanted to say I'd be more than happy to be the alternate if there's if one of the other two new members would be happy to take this position.
Okay. Councillor Marsh?
I'd be more than happy to be the alternate also.
Well, we can only have one alternate. So first of all, so we have three people, well, potentially. So Fernandez and Schneider, you're willing to both sit on it? Okay. So Davey and Marsh, you'll withdraw? Okay. So Councillor Marsh is now the alternate. Congratulations.
All right.
Democracy is a perfect science. Moving on to the Arts and Culture Advisory Committee, Councillor Marsh.
No,
Okay. Councillor Singh.
Councillor Schneider?
Okay. Any others? Oh, Councillor Galloway Seelock.
Councillor Marsh.
Okay. Any others? I know Councillor Marsh.
no, thank you. No, I'd rather not.
You don't want to be on that one?
No, thank you.
Okay, so you're withdrawing. Any others? If not, Councillor Schneider, It looks like you're the new member on the Arts and Culture Advisory Committee. Okay, moving on to the Committee of Adjustment. There are no council members on Committee of Adjustment. Oh, I'm following this list. Oh, yes, sorry. Thank you very much. Well, am I new or what? We'll move on to the citizen members of the Arts and Culture Advisory Committee. And you will note that the recommendations from the Citizens Nomination Committee are Shirley Medill, representing an arts organization, Chantal Myers, representing an arts organization, Dana Walls, representing an arts educator, Dee Morton, an artist, Wayne Addison, an artist, Christy Smith, youth, Mark Darrow, Danielle DeVoe, Eric Rumble, Sam Vortenyak, and Linda Zensner are the people who have been nominated. I would need someone to move those if they wanted to. Councillor Galloway Seelock was first.
Yeah, I have no problem moving those as the current representative on this committee. I'd also like to make a recommendation with regards to the size of the committee. It's often that we find very close to quorum, and with the Arts and Culture Advisory Committee, they have subcommittees, and we have a number of people who are very qualified to sit on the Arts and Culture Advisory Committee who don't have any positions that were left off any of the committees. And so I think it's really important to engage those people. So I'd like to add 2 extra positions to the Arts and Culture Advisory Committee, and I know I'm very cognizant of doing this as a first committee of the day. I don't want to set a precedent, but I really, from my experience on that committee, I think it's really important to add the positions. It doesn't have to change their quorum or any other rules. I think just us appointing 2 more positions is probably really good for the Arts and Culture Advisory Committee.
Okay.
And I would add to the slate then of what I've moved, which is in front of us, Alana Bell and Julie Allred, which is Alana Bell was number 9 and Julie Allred was number 6. And then I'd also just like to give direction to staff that anybody who wasn't chosen for the committee, that they reach out to them and ask them to be on one of the subcommittees as a citizen rep with one of the subcommittees.
Julie Allred, did you say, Councillor
Yeah.
Galloway Seelock?
Allred, Allred.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Alana Bell.
So number 6 and number 9.
Just before we proceed, one question, Ms. Carabo. The smaller list, smaller pile that was sent to us, are those ones that came in after the deadline, and do we need a motion for them to be considered in the past? I think we have had to have that. You're saying no? We don't need that?
Through you, Mr. Chair, it is council's prerogative to entertain any of the members, so you just need a member of council to put the names forward.
Okay, so let just for cleanliness' sake, let's just take a motion moved by Councillor Fernandez, seconded by Councillor Davey, that we accept the late applicants for consideration. That's all that means. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried unanimously. Okay, so Councillor Fernandez, you had a name you wanted to bring forward?
No, actually, I was supporting Councillor Galloway Seelock's recommendation.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Marsh.
I also wanted to just suggest another name of somebody who was someone who is unassigned is Kate Swift.
Kate Swift?
Yeah. She's number 115.
Okay. So what's committee's desire? Is it we just add all 3, or? Yeah? Okay, we'll add is everyone comfortable with that? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. We'll now move on to we'll move on to Committee of Adjustment. Councillor Singh.
On top of the recommendations that are before us, I would also like to move Preet Kohli.
Well, somebody needs to move all the names, so
I'll
if you can just list the names that you're moving.
Bear with me 1 second. So the names that I would be moving would be Denny Sabalski, Andrew Head, Bob McCall, Jennifer Meter, and then Preet Kohli.
Preet Kohli, okay. Councillor Fernandez.
Yes, I would like to add Terry Boutier to that group.
Okay. Any additional names? Okay, so at this point there are 6 names for 5 positions. So if I can ask committee to vote for your 5 names. Yep. So the 5 names are Cybalski, Head, Kohli, McCall, Meter, and Boutelier. There's 5 that you need to vote for. Cybalski, Head, Kohli, McCall, Meter, and Boutelier.
So Davy votes for Boutelier, Kohli, Meter, Head, Sabalski. Verbanovic, Sabalski, Head, Kohli, McCall, Mater. Fernandez, Boutelier, Head, McCall, Mater, Kohli. Ioannidis, Kohli, Sabalski, Mater, Head, McCall. Gazzola, Sabalski, Head, McCall, Boutelier, Mater. Marsh, Head, Kohli, Mater, Boutelier, McCall. Galloway Sealock, Sabalski, Head, McCall, Mater, Kohli. Etherington, Sabalski, Head, McCall, Mater, Kohli. Singh, Sabalski, Head, Kohli, McCall, Mater. And Schneider, Sabalski, Head, McCall, Mater, Kohli.
think I know the answer, but I'll wait for the clerk to tally them up. Madam Clerk.
The members are Denny Sobalski, Andrew Head, Bob McCall, Jennifer Meader, Preet Kohli.
Okay. We'll now move on to the Committee of Revision. Councillor Singh.
Can I move both Councillor Schneider and Chineki?
You can move both of those. Councillor Fernandez.
I was going to move Yanetsky. That's who you did?
Yep.
Okay. Yep.
So far Schneider and Yanetsky have been moved. Any further nominations? Councillor Yanetsky did indicate he's willing to sit on it. Oh, Councillor Fernandez again?
Oh, sorry, no, I just...
No?
put back.
Okay. Councillor Yanetsky indicated he's willing to sit on it. Councillor Schneider, are you willing to sit on it? I understand it meets a whole lot. Maybe not. Okay, so the two of you are our new members on the Committee of Revision. We will now move on to Compass Kitchener, and I will note who the names are that have come forward from the selection committee, and they include Fadi Abd Ulhamid, Nathan Dorsch, Lynn Gazzola, Chris Hyde, Graham Jackson, Peter Lennox, Daniela McIntosh, Mark Paul, Laurie Trumper, Tristan Wilkin, Kirk Zurell, and Peter Deeds. I can never pronounce his name right. Deeds, okay. So that is the list of nominees coming forward. Councillor Fernandez.
Yes, I wanted to make a point of noting that Peter Dedes' first choice was actually cycling, and we've been moving on some very intense projects, and I really would like to see him return to cycling. I know that is a conversation we've had. So I would like to strike him from that committee and move him down, because there is vacancies in cycling, and in his place add two other people. Zoe Zahara, who is a director of human resources, and it's number 21. And Roberto Valamar, he's 118, and he's listed on our long sheets as a visible minority. And the other person, Lynn Gazzola, although I know that she has sat on committee of Compass Kitchener previously, has some. I apologize. She has not. She was on the library board. Thank you. But she has some strengths in heritage that I think could be well used in heritage instead. So, and I think that was her second choice as well. Compass Kitchener was her first choice. Heritage was her first choice? Okay. So then I think that for those two, Lynn Gazzola and Peter Dedes, that there may have, understanding that as councillors who sit on those committees, we may have a better understanding of where those people fit better than the nominating committee. I know that they've done a great job, but just wanted to add and subtract, I guess, those two.
I think, just to be correct, I think... unless the sheets aren't correct. Lynn Gazzola's first choice was Compass Kitchener, not Heritage. According to her application. Sorry, Councillor Gazzola. So Councillor Fernandez, you've added Zoe Zaharta, Roberto Alomar, and you're moving the rest of the list, but you're asking to remove, what did I call it? No, I thought you said Roberto Alomar. I did. Valamar, sorry.
Well, we might want...
I thought it was an odd coincidence.
We might want Roberto Alomar on as well. Who knows?
But you're suggesting, but you're not moving Peter Deeds or Lynn Gazzola, but you're moving the rest of the list?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Councillor Ioannidis. Councillor Marsh.
I move that I agree that we move Peter Dides to cycling, and because Compass Kitchener was not his first choice, and if we have inside information about Lynn Gazzola's first choice, then I'm happy to move that to agree with that as well. And Boyana Savic, I'm sorry, I don't have her number in front of me, but she is a current member of Compass Kitchener, and I move that she also be added to the list of Compass Kitchener. Her name is Boyana Savic. I'll just get her number, one sec. Okay, 52.
Okay, in fairness, I don't think it's appropriate for us, regardless of inside information, to be removing someone who on their own submitted an application. So unless they've formally informed the clerk that they've changed their priorities, I think we have to consider them with what's in front of us. So, but at this point, somebody wouldn't need to add her on if that was the case. But at this point, that hasn't happened. Councillor Galloway-Seelock.
It means you can still put her up for Heritage Kitchener if that's what you're looking to do at the time. I would like to just add to this one, I agree with a lot of the changes being made or put forward, but I also like to add Julie Mallett, number 4A, to the mix.
Sorry, Julie
Mallett, M-A-L-L-E-T-T-E.
Yep.
4A.
And Councillor Fernandez.
So I just wanted to speak to Julie Mallett for 1 second. She has some great, looking at her application, environmental background, and I think that was one of the reasons why I had suggested her for that. But I'm sure she'll bring something interesting to Compass Kitchener as well. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, can someone remind me, because I can't seem to find, was Amina Galani on this committee before, or was she on another committee? Downtown, okay, thank you. Sarah Marsh, Councillor-elect Marsh.
So just, are we suggesting that maybe some people will go on 2 committees? No, just
no,
one. It's one at a time, right?
Yep.
Thanks.
I will. I personally will still move Councillor Gazzola forward, because that, according to this, was her first choice, and I think we need to respect that and the recommendation of the advisory committee. So I will have her on the list as well. And I'll just maybe point out that she has been an incredibly strong member of the library board. She's been on for the last 8 years, and quite frankly, I think she would actually be a real benefit to Compass Kitchener, because she can bring an overall perspective to a committee that's doing important work for the city from a strategic planning point of view. Not that heritage isn't important, but this sort of takes a comprehensive perspective on our city. So what is do staff have any thoughts on this one? Is there a problem if we added more names? If so, how many more names?
Through you, Mr. Chair, the current complement through the terms of reference says 8 to 12 community members, but in the past, council has over-appointed. I would suggest that one applicant whose application was late, if we are going to consider her, it should not be instead of any applicant who did apply on time.
I'm sorry, and who was that? Ms. Mallett? Okay. Okay, who moved Ms. Mallett? You did? Do you want to leave her there, or do you want to? Okay. Go ahead, Councillor Galloway-Seelock.
I just think we have a lot of people on the Environment Committee that have expertise and knowledge in environment, and I think it's a really good person to put on to bring that lens to Compass Kitchener and really be able to bring that focus to Compass Kitchener, because they look at everything, and this council has always had environment as a priority in our strategic plan, and so I think that's the reason why I think it's important to put different experts on Compass Kitchener, and I feel that that's a good fit for this one.
Okay, so what's the will of, or what's the desire of committee? Is it to leave all of them, or to just add a certain number of extra positions? Right now we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have 16 names before us. The current allotment is 8 to 12. Yeah, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There's 16. Oh, sorry, I'm double counting. You're right, Lynn. So it is 15. 15 with all the added. The number is 8 to 12, and we have 15 names before us, so we can add the extras. Councillor Marsh, and I see 4 other people want to speak, so Councillor Marsh.
So just, I think that like a lot of committees, sometimes we do struggle with quorum on Compass Kitchener, and also there's always been some attrition, so I don't see a problem with over-committing at this point and expecting that maybe 1 or 2 people will leave the committee before the 2-year term is up. Okay. Councillor Fernandez?
I was going to speak to the same thing. I was looking at the number of people that have who are returning, and there's a number of people who have missed meetings. Bojana, unfortunately, has missed 2 out of the 6, and maybe Councillor-elect Marsh can enlighten us as to the rationale why she missed so many meetings.
Okay, Councillor Marsh, did you want to respond to that?
Bojana adds a lot to the committee. She has had schedule conflicts that I think are resolved now, so that's why she missed a few meetings.
Councillor Singh.
Yeah, I just was going to recommend that I think I'd be comfortable with just adding the 3 extra names to it. I don't think we're stretching too far if we're going from the 12 to the 15. So.
Okay, so in addition to the original list, less Peter Deeds, we've added Zoe Zaharta, Roberto Balamar, Bojana Savic, and Julie Millette. Okay, everyone comfortable with that? Councillor Davey?
Sorry, I just wanted to clarify, in case I misheard, with Gazzola that's applied. So if it turns out that she actually her preference is heritage, is there a way we can fix that at a later date? Because obviously we could use the help on heritage.
I guess we could. I mean,
not trying to make it more complex, but if we do know that she'd rather sit on heritage and we're going to appoint her to Compass, I just like to fix that now, if possible. I mean, I know it puts the chair in an awkward position, but I guess the question is, can we fix it at a later date?
Madam Clerk, I guess she would just step down from one and we would have to decide to appoint her to another? Would that be the process, or?
If that's the case.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I believe that we would have to bring that forward as a separate item at a later date if it turns out she did want to change, just to formalize the process.
Okay. Maybe we can ask if anybody can email her. I don't know if is she on BlackBerry by any chance? Is she on BlackBerry? Can you email her and get some clarification if possible? That would be helpful. Thanks. Okay, so we'll leave her off and then we'll come back to it. Okay, so the rest of the list, and then we'll come back and deal with that one before the end of the meeting. Okay? Everyone's fine with that? Okay. We'll now move on to Cycling and Trails Advisory Committee. And Councillor Fernandez.
Yes, thank you.
Let's do the councillors first.
Oh, sorry, the councillor? Oh.
Okay. That's
I don't want
fine.
to nominate myself, but
Okay. Well,
I guess I can.
okay. We'll come back to you. Councillor Galloway Seelock.
Oh, no, I wasn't prepared for that. Oh, I'll nominate Councillor Fernandez.
Okay. So Councillor Fernandez has been nominated. Councillor Marsh.
I was just going to do the same thing. Yeah.
Okay. I seem to have a recollection that I think Councillor Gazzola wanted to be on the committee as well from when we had our original meeting, but okay. How about we move on to the citizen committee members? There are on the list the following people right now: Terry Boudelier, Brian Page, Lee Chandler, Marta Generu, Daniel Hashowski, Darren Croft, Gwyneth Michelle, Victoria Van Kaplan, Jeff Sanderson, Kevin Young, Deb Chapman, and from the previous one, Peter Deeds. I heard people wanted added onto it, so that's the list as it sits right now. Councillor Fernandez.
Yes. With all due respect, I looked through Mr. Page's application. Cycling was his last. He doesn't speak at all about cycling or his love or desire of cycling or even trails. There are a number of people, Susie Taka, who is part of the community access bike and Recycle Cycles and the Working Centre, who I think would be a wonderful asset to the Cycling Advisory Committee, and Mike Bowes. Despite that he was also a late starter, the Cycling Committee has been working on some really wonderful initiatives, and these people, Mike Bowes and Peter Dedes, really are critical to moving those items forward. So I'd like to see Brian Page removed and Susie Taka moved in replacement of him. Oh, sorry, thank you. 10A and 1A. 10A is Susie and 1A is Mike Bowes.
Okay, I just want to remind committee that in considering all of these, let's not lose sight of the fact that the cycling committee is now the Cycling and Trails Advisory Committee.
But that's why I spoke to both cycling and trails.
Yep, I'm just making that point. Councillor, no, you're good too. Sorry, so Councillor Fernandez, those two names again?
Oh, sorry. Mike Bowes and Susie Taka. Mike Bowes was 1A and Susie Taka was 10A.
Right. And no Brian Page. Right. Anybody else want to move him? No? Okay. So the names before us then are the list, except for Mr. Page, but including Mike Bowes, Susie Taka, Peter Deeds. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Just hang on for a second. Yes. Councillor Marsh?
Just a quick question here. What is the number of people for safe and healthy? That's it. Do we have the exact same number that's recommended? 3, 6, 9, 10?
Like, what's the number that's
of members?
In the terms of reference right now, it's 7. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 7 to 12 members is the terms of reference plus a member of council.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of them are specified. Some of them are community at large. But again, we do have prerogative there if we want to deal with that when the time comes.
Okay. The reason I ask is because Deborah Chapman is currently recommended to be on the Cycling and Trails Advisory Committee, but her first choice was to continue on in her role at Safe and Healthy. So I move that we remove her name from the Cycling and Trails Advisory Committee and add it to the Safe and Healthy. Is it too late to do that?
No, I mean, we can do what we want. Again, I'm just going to reiterate in all of these, I just want to remind folks that, I mean, the committees, you know, we can do what we want, and I understand that we want to engage as many people as possible, but let's not lose sight of the fact that all the committees do have terms of reference, and also the fact that, you know, we have a selection committee of very senior community people who devoted their time to the community if we're going to go and start making all sorts of changes. So, you know, if the process needs adjusting for next time, you know, in terms of giving them more latitude or whatever, then we may want to consider that for when we deal with this again 2 years from now, if we're going to be making a lot more changes. I'm just cognizant of the messaging that we're sending out on that in that regard. So are you now suggesting that somebody would be removed from this list, or you're not suggesting that Ms. Chapman be removed from the cycling list? Oh. To remove her from this and add her to Safe and Healthy we've already, I mean, it's a formal process here. We've already voted on it, but I'm going to have some flexibility in terms of how we're handling this, since it's okay. So, are others comfortable with removing Ms. Chapman from this list? Okay, you're not comfortable with it, so you want her on the list? Councillor Galloway-Seelock?
Yeah, I just, I looked at her application and noted that even at Safe and Healthy, she's turned out for 3 of 7 meetings, and that's a concern with me. And I was okay putting her on the Cycling and Trails Advisory Committee because we didn't seem to have as many people looking to be on that committee, considering there were 2 vacancies when we got our recommendations, whereas Safe and Healthy, there's a number of people who could probably be slotted in there over her, quite frankly. And my concern is that she's shown up for 3 of 7 meetings. And so I'd like to see her stay on the Cycling and Trails, and maybe that change of interest will spark her to attend more meetings.
Councillor Fernandez?
I'm fine with her being on either way. I think she'll be bringing not only a cycling perspective, but a trail perspective, which is one of the components of the new Cycling and Trails Committee.
Okay, so you're comfortable with that? Okay, great. Well then, Councillor Gazzola, we were dealing with the Cycling and Trails Advisory Committee. Councillor Fernandez expressed an interest in it. I seem to recall when we had our sit down that you also had an interest in that committee.
A great interest in that committee, but I will attend the committee as a
observer. Okay.
Unpaid observer.
We can have 2 if you want to. Do you want to be a second person on that committee? Just observer? Okay, that's fine. So Councillor Fernandez, if there's nobody else, is the member of that committee. Okay, we'll now go to Dog Designation Appeal Committee. Yeah, so everyone comfortable with the way we had that one? Yeah. Yeah, okay. So same as the other committee. We'll move on. We'll now move on to DAC. The council committee members are the Ward 9 and 10 councillors. We then have a number of people In the resident category, we have Melissa Bowman, Dean Nipfel, Jessica Kropp, Kevin Muir, Brian Santos, Scott Thompson, and Brad Watson. In the downtown business category, we have Aaron Atchison, Hanan Awad, Xenia Horton, George Trehania, and Andre Chin. And then in the downtown building owner developer category, we have Mallory Weldon, Don Zaire, and we would need to pursue 3 others outside of this. I have several people wanting to chime in. Councillor Davey.
Yes, I would add Amina Giuliani, I guess.
Amina Giuliani.
Number 2A.
And she would be in the resident category?
Right.
Okay. Councillor Fernandez.
I second that, Amina Giuliani, but I also wanted to add Tyson Bond. He is a business owner and downtown business owner. So I think maybe it's not downtown, but he does say in town. So and it talks about the music and entertainment industry. So I thought he would be a good addition in one of our vacant spots. Sorry, number 64.
Well, our vacant spots are for downtown building owners, developers, just to be clear on that.
Okay, he does say he's a downtown building. He does say he owns an upscale night lounge and restaurant in town. I guess he didn't specify whether it was downtown or not.
Okay.
But I thought because of his experience with the entertainment industry, he might be a good addition.
Okay. Councillor Singh.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say the same for Amina Gilani.
Okay. Councillor Etherington.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair. Just one name, David Harms, number 66. I think he'd be a good representative, but again, the problem is it's another resident, not a building owner or a developer. Number 66. I think you'll see him as a delegation this evening.
Okay. So we have 3 additional people that have been suggested: Amina Gilani, Tyson Bond, and David Harms. What is the desire of committee? Did you want to leave the committee the way it is, or did you want to add those 3? Councillor Fernandez?
I would like to add those 3. Certainly, if we find, it looks like we've got a good mix of both residential and business right now. Hopefully, we can continue lobbying the downtown business community and see if we can get some other people in. I suspect that, like all the other committees, we have ebb and flow, and we may see some of these people step down when the newer people may not find that they fit the bill.
Okay. Is there a seconder for that? Seconded by Councillor Ioannidis. All those in favor? Oh.
Did somebody move the whole list, or was there someone who wanted to just re-add it? Yeah, I don't know if you're moving the whole list or if you're removing any from the list.
Nobody's moved the whole list. So are you want to move some of the list? Nobody is. Councillor Galloway-Seelock, you have the floor. You turned yourself off. Go ahead.
Well, I'm not proposing the full list. I'm proposing Melissa Bowman, Dean, Jessica, Kevin, Brian, Scott, Brad, Aaron, Zena, George, Andre, Mallory, and Don.
Okay. So that's the list that's being proposed along with the 3 additional names. Are we clear on that? Okay. Councillor Fernandez?
I apologize, I forgot that I wanted to ask if Kevin Muir, who has expertise in heritage, he's a planner, he would actually fit one of our sector vacancies in the building industry and planning.
Is he a building owner or developer? It's very specific.
Heritage planner.
That doesn't make him an owner or a developer.
Putting him on heritage, yeah. Moving
Okay.
him from downtown.
Oh, you want to move someone over?
Sorry, I apologize. I wasn't very clear. Yeah. He's number 70. If you wanted to take a look at... I realize that. But yeah, no, I know. But I guess he's a registered professional planner. He lives in the Victoria Park neighborhood, and I thought that his profession in sector identifier, it says profession planner, and then in brackets heritage.
I guess again, and I'm going to keep harping on this. I'm just going to keep saying we had a committee that went through all this, and I understand we're making some adjustments, but I'm just concerned if we start haphazardly moving people off. If we have vacancies on Heritage, then let's go out and advertise for Heritage and get those people. But if we have, a committee that's, considered these and put them on the list, unless there's a reason not to, I would suggest that we keep those. If we add a few extras, that's fine. But, or there's a really compelling reason to move someone. But if somebody's choice is reflected here and the committee's recommended them, I really think that if we want these people to continue being part of an advisory group in the future for us, which I think we do, we respect that.
Okay, and I understand what you're saying. It's just that because we have so many vacancies in Heritage, and Heritage has been advertising and has been trying to get more people to sit on that, and we're not very successful. We're sitting in a lack of quorum Heritage Committee, which means we can't move things forward.
Well, that's then an issue that we need to look at from a broader perspective in terms of what are the challenges around heritage. And I don't think that, that this is necessarily going to solve that. So I'm at the committee's disposal on that, but as it stands now, the list includes Mr. Muir, as well as the additional people of Ms. Galani, Mr. Bond, and Mr. Harmes.
But Kevin Muir is a planner, and there is a vacant spot on Heritage for planner.
Okay, but again, it's been moved. So are you asking that he be voted on separately? I'll withdraw that. Okay. Councillor-elect Marsh. Sorry? His first choice is to be on the downtown. That is correct. Okay, then you can move to add him on. Hold on, Councillor Marsh has the floor. Councillor Marsh.
No, go ahead. This is go ahead.
Okay,
if I may give my spot to Ioannidis.
Okay, Councillor Ioannidis.
I moved to add him on.
Okay, so he's back on. We'll deal with that one separately, I guess. Councillor Marsh, is it on this issue?
Yeah. Well, I moved to second Councillor Galloway-Seelock's list, notwithstanding the question of whether or not Kevin Muir stays on or off the list. So.
Okay, so we'll move the remainder. We'll move the whole list, less Mr. Muir. It's been moved, seconded by Councillor. That's right, Mr. Muir and Mr. Water not on that list, and we've added Ms. Galani, Mr. Bond, and Mr. Harmes. Or Harms. Okay, is everybody clear on that? So we're voting on, to be clear, Melissa Bowman, Dean Nipfel, Jessica Kropp, Brian Santos, Scott Thompson, Brad Watson, Aaron Atchison, Xenia Horton, George Triania, Andre Chin, Mallory Weldon, Don Zaire, Amina Galani, Tyson Bond, and David Hermes. Moved by Councillor Galloway-Seelock, seconded by Councillor-elect Marsh. Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Now, Councillor Ioannidis has moved Kevin Muir based on the recommendations of the committee and his interest. Is there a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Etherington. All those in favor? Opposed? 2 opposed, 3 opposed. That's carried. So Mr. Muir is also on the committee. Okay, moving on then to the Environmental Committee. We'll start with members of council. Nominees. If not, okay, Councillor Galloway-Seelock.
I'll move Councillor Fernandez.
Okay, Councillor Fernandez has been moved. Are there other members of council interested? If not, Councillor Fernandez, you're the council rep on environmental. We'll now go on to the citizen reps and those recommended are Tina Belanger, Stacy Dankert, Yvonne Donaher, Tia Driver, Cynthia Gaetani, John Jackson, Lana McKinnon, Elizabeth McFarland, Katarina Milisic, Brenda Picard, and Venkat Raja. Councillor-elect Marsh. Hang on. Go ahead.
I move that we accept that whole list.
Okay, so you moved that list. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Fernandez. So we'll do that, and then we'll deal with any extras if there. Well, actually, no. Are there any additional names? Councillor Fernandez.
Yes, Marcus Yeager, 6A. He has a master's in environmental studies, and I think he is on the unassigned applicant list. Okay. I'd like to add him. We have been struggling with some quorum issues, and I think it would be wonderful to have somebody with a master's in environmental studies.
Okay. Councillor Galloway-Sealock.
I also wanted to add Victor Salajan. I don't know if that's how you say it. 136. A part of the unassigned list.
Okay. Any others? Victor Salajan. Are there any other nominations? Okay. So, is committee's desire just to add those two names? Councillor Fernandez, you moved the motion. Yeah, I think Councillor Marsh, you seconded. That's fine. Okay, so all those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. So it's the whole list plus Mr. Yeager and Mr. Salajan. We are now going to move on to GRAC, Grand River Accessibility Advisory Committee. Who would like to sit on that committee? Anybody interested? Okay, Councillor Galloway-Sealock, you indicate you're interested. Anybody know? Nobody else wants it? GRAC? If not, I'll move you. Okay, Councillor Galloway-Sealock. Nobody else? It's going to be Councillor Galloway-Sealock. Okay, moving on to Heritage Kitchener. And we will start with members of council. And I'll remind folks that I think in that list, Councillor Yunetsky said he was interested, but I'll just double. Yes, okay. Councillor Fernandez.
Yes, I'd like to nominate Councillor Yunetsky, but I know that we did make the change of having one member of council. What do we need to do to have two members of council sitting on Heritage? I know that there is strong interest around the horseshoe for Heritage, and I'm just wondering if we should be looking at two.
We can do that as we handle others, and deal with that in that way. So, Councillor Yunetsky's moved at this point. Councillor Etherington.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I just wanted to add my voice to that. I've felt in the past few years that we should have two councillors on that committee. Okay.
Are you nominating another councillor? Okay, Councillor Galloway-Sealock.
I nominate Councillor Etherington.
Okay. Councillor Fernandez.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Gazzola.
Okay. Councillor Gazzola, do you want to be on that committee? You want to be on it? Okay. Is there anybody else that wants to be on Heritage? You'd like to move Councillor Davey? Okay. Councillor Davey respectfully declines. Okay. Councillor Ioannidis? Okay. Councillor Gazzola, you still have the floor. Okay, at this point then, you're willing to leave your name there? Yes. Okay, so unless there's anybody else, it'll be Councillors Yanetsky and Gazzola. Okay? So we'll now move on to the citizen members. And the following people have been nominated. Megan Bell, Martin Timmerman, Amanda Huikas, Steve Burrows, Stephen Thompson, Stephanie Halapia, and Slavko Miladinovic. Councillor Galloway-Sealock.
Just following up on some of the discussion we had with regards to the downtown, and I know we have a rule that we can only appoint each person to one, but in this case where we do have someone very specific who is interested in Heritage Kitchener, I would ask that we give them the opportunity by waiving that rule, I guess, at this point, to put Kevin Muir in as a planner if he chooses to be on both. So I guess it would require a motion to suspend those rules to see if he would like to be on both, because I think it is a specialized area, but give him the opportunity. So we approve it, but if he chooses not to, then we still have that vacancy in the planner.
I don't know if it would require a suspension of rules because it's not in the procedural bylaw. And that motion around sitting on one per committee is a motion of a previous council. So while that continues to be the practice, this committee could recommend someone under that idea that you would basically ask him if he wants to sit on both, and if he said yes, that we would permit it if this committee is comfortable with that. So is that what you're moving?
That is what I am moving. And
okay.
the list that's...
Okay, so move the list. I'll deal with actually the question of Mr. Muir separately because it is sort of outside of the normal boundaries. And maybe we'll just deal with that first, if we can. So it's been moved by Councillor Galloway-Sealock. Is there a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Fernandez. All those in favor of Mr. Muir? Opposed? That's carried. So the offer will be extended to him, and if he's interested, he will be a member of the committee. And the motion coming to inaugural meeting should reflect that, as long as we have a response from him by that time. If he says no, then that's a different story. Okay? So I need someone to move the main list, moved by Councillor Galloway-Sealock, seconded by Councillor Etherington, and then actually, before we deal with it, Councillor Fernandez.
Yes, I would like to move Kerry Kirby as a member for the St. Mary's Heritage District. He has brought an awful lot of experience, and I'd like to see him try again to be on the Heritage Committee.
Okay. Councillor Gazzola?
Yes, I was going to move Mr. Kirby also. I would like to see him on the committee.
Okay. Councillor Galloway-Sealock, did you want that as part of the motion? Do you want that dealt with separately? Okay, so let's deal with the main list. All those in favor of the main list so the main list, not including Mr. Kirby. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. We'll now deal with Mr. Kirby. All those in favor of adding Mr. Kirby? Opposed? So that name has not been added onto the list. Councillor Fernandez?
Just a quick question to our clerks. In looking at all of the unassigned applicants, I've gone through them quite stringently to see if there was any interest on some of their behalfs to sit on Heritage. Would it be possible for us to reach out to some of these people and see if there is an interest? Maybe they have something that they didn't put on their applications that might make them a wonderful candidate for Heritage. Would it be possible for us to do that?
Through you, Mr. Chair, typically what we do is we look at the interest of the applicant, and if they have expressed an interest either as their first, second, or third choice, we would add them to the list. So if the individual hasn't indicated an interest in HK, we wouldn't typically do that, but under the circumstances, if there are applicants who we think might make a good contribution to that, we can certainly add them to the list of folks that we could reach out to.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. We'll now move on to Property Standards Committee, and then with the committee's indulgence, can we take a 5-minute bathroom break after that? So let's deal with property standards yet. And Councillor Singh. Go ahead. It was on, but turned it off. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry about that. No, just I've seen some of the same names over the last 4 years. Just I think it would be helpful to start showing the term that someone's been on if it's been recommended by the committee, just for our reference. I know the applications show it, but just it makes the process so much easier. Again, I saw the same name again that I've seen many years in a row. Not to say I'm not disagreeing at this point. I'm just saying it may help us with the process of having the term that someone served on a committee.
Okay. Actually, I thought, isn't that on the list somewhere anyway, the number of years they've been on? Yeah, like none of them have exceeded their 8 years, if that's what you're getting at, because we would have dealt with them as part of a motion. Okay. Hang on. You got to be on. Go ahead, Councillor Singh.
Sure, not a problem. I'm just saying, Councillor Marsh, the sheet that you referred to shows that they're on a committee, but doesn't refer to how long they've been on it. No, I know that 8 years is the term of length. When someone's approaching close to 7 years, I'm saying it's still a relevant information, that's all.
Okay.
Future reference.
Okay. Staff can note that. Councillor Fernandez.
So I wanted to move the list, but I guess I was puzzled because I was having a hard time finding the applications for that. And am I?
So the list of people who applied are
the same
Councillor
people?
Rooney, Christina Rooney, Kevin Young, and then the late applicant. But we're considering those Karen Taylor Harrison.
Yeah. Okay. So I would like to move those.
Those three.
Yep.
Okay. Any? Okay. Councillor-elect Marsh.
Just on our spreadsheet in the last column, maybe I was unsure of what that meant then when in the notes when it says 9 of 9 or 4 of 9.
That's attendance.
Attendance. Oh, that's number of meetings. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Councillor Galloway-Seelock, you had something you wanted to raise? There are a number of people who, but I think we've appointed some of them. So, like, for example, Megan Bell. Okay, Councillor Galloway Seelock.
I didn't look back at the start. Are we doing the aeronautical one, or is that not on
We will,
here?
it's later on in the list.
Where is it on the list?
It's number... that's on page 13, other appointments. It's actually a regional committee that we appoint reps to.
Right, those are my papers. I would like to add to property standards, Nathan Gwynn, number 2.
Okay. Anybody else? Now, I noticed that that committee previously had 4 names, but one had resigned midterm. So I guess I would look to the clerk. I think, is this one where any 3 or any 2 normally sit on? I'm not sure. I can't remember what.
It says at least 3 persons.
At least 3.
Through you,
But do they all sit at the same time, I guess is my question.
The answer is that we need an alternate, so the 4th person, they alternate, they rotate. So having an alternate would be beneficial.
Okay. So we can add yours as a 4th person and they'll just rotate the hearings. Everyone okay with that? Okay. Councillor Etherington, you have a comment or a question on that?
Just a comment, Mr. Chair. That was Nathan Gwynn. I was going to raise Mr. Gwynn as, I think it was one of the funniest applications I've ever read in my life. Did other members of council read it? Yep. Refreshingly honest. He says he's chubby and he likes bacon. He hates to dress up or wear suits, and it gets even better from there. I'll spare you.
It's always good to add a little bit of levity in the middle of all of our reading. Okay, so we'll take those 4 names. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Motion to recess 5 minutes. Moved by Councillor Galloway Seelock, seconded by Councillor Davey. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Rolling along then, if we can, folks. We'll now move on to Safe and Healthy Community Advisory Committee, and let's deal with the councillor. Oh, yes. Sorry. Councillor Gazzola has not been able to get a hold of Lynn, so the suggestion was that we stick with her first choice, and we can always deal with it after the fact if it is problematic. So just to close the loop on that one, does somebody want to move, Lynn? Moved by Councillor Ioannidis, second by Councillor Fernandez. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. We'll now move on to Safe and Healthy Community Advisory Committee and motions for the council reps. Councillor Davey.
Yes, I'll move Councillor-elect Marsh.
Okay. Councillor Singh.
I was going to say the same.
Okay. Any further nominations? Councillor Marsh.
Are we moving to have more than one councillor on this?
We can have more than one councillor if you want.
Yeah. So I elect Councillor-elect Schneider.
Okay. Are both of you willing to be on there? Yep. Any other nominees? Thus it shall be then. We'll now move on to the citizen reps for that committee, and those who have been nominated at this point in time include Laura Roberts, Doug McCluskey, Jeff Pellich, Andrew Buronsky, Nancy Bird, Dana Christensen, Elizabeth Clark, Mike Farwell, Santiago Grande, and Abdul Rahimi. Councillor Singh.
I move that list.
You'll move that list. Okay, we'll see if there's any additional names. Councillor Davey?
Yes, I would, as I wouldn't look to remove anyone, but I would add Chris Letizzi, and pardon me, I don't have his
Chris Letizzi?
number handy.
Was there another name as well, or is that it?
Was, sorry, no, just Chris Letizzi, 97, thank you.
Just Mr. Letizzi? Okay, Councillor Fernandez.
Yes, I wanted to add Julie Nichols. She's number 132 on the unassigned applicants.
Okay. Councillor-elect Marsh.
Unless she's already been nominated for a different committee, I was going to suggest Amanda Huikas. She was okay.
She's on
Thanks.
Heritage. Okay. Sorry, so Councillor, who was it that moved the whole list? Was it Councillor Singh moved the whole list? Are you comfortable with those two additional names? Okay. So it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Belmont Improvement Area Board of Directors. Councillor Yanetsky's indicated he's interested in serving on this. Moved by Councillor Davey. Councillor Fernandez?
Just
You're
wanted to second
seconding?
that. Yep.
Okay. Anybody else? No? It's Councillor Yanetsky then. The rest of it we don't appoint, correct? Yeah, no, I know, but the rest of Belmont we don't approve, correct? Okay. So we're now moving on to the Center in the Square. There has been, up until now, the mayor and 3 members of council. We made a motion in the last term of council to change it to 1 and 1. However, that has not gone through legal change yet in terms of the different names. I know there's been some suggestion that we would continue appointing 3 until we deal with that in the future. So if that is desired, I guess we will need a motion to that effect, but I would suggest that we only appoint for 1 year if that in fact is the case. Right now it's a 4-year appointment, and we can revisit it as part of that discussion. Councillor Davey is moving that. Okay. So everyone's comfortable with that. So we're dealing with 1-year appointment, but dealing with 3 names. So now I'll take nominees. Actually, let's just have a motion to that effect. Sorry, we had the motion. Let's just have a vote. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Councillor Etherington.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I would nominate Councillors Scott Davey and Paul Singh.
Davey and Singh have been nominated. Councillor Gazzola. Hold on. Councillor Gazzola, you were going to nominate yourself?
And Councillor Yanetsky.
Okay. Gazzola and Yanetsky. Councillor Fernandez.
I was going with the same, Yanetsky and Gazzola.
Okay. So we have 3 out of 4 that we're voting for.
Marsh votes for Gazzola, Yanetsky, and Singh. Marsh votes for Gazzola, Yanetsky, Singh. Schneider votes for Singh, Davy, Gazzola. Etherington, Davy, Singh, Gazzola. Ioannidis, Singh, Gazzola, Davy. Gazzola, Yanetsky, Singh. Fernandez, Gazzola, Yanetsky. Verbanovic, Gazzola. Yep.
We don't normally allow plunking in this process. Plunking, it's when you only vote for less than the number of names. So can you pass it back and you can vote for your third one?
So Fernandez, the addition is Singh. Verbanovic, Gazzola, Yanetsky, Davy. Galloway Seelock, Gazzola, Davy, Singh. Davy, Singh, Gazzola, Davy. And Singh, Davy, Singh, Gazzola.
So I think the Madam Clerk.
The three councillors are Davy, Singh, Gazzola.
Okay. We'll now deal with the citizen reps, and I'll refer you to the memo from the Centre in the Square Board. So the Centre in the Square Board has passed a motion to make Bruce Gordon their new chair. Marcus Shantz will remain as vice chair through to the end of the current term, ending 1st of January 2015, at which point Murray Gamble will remain as vice chair through to 2015. And the board has recommended that the terms be extended for Hillary Abel and Jennifer Appleby Vines, and that the additional name to be supported is Paul Salvini. Councillor Ioannidis.
I'll move that.
You're moving that list? Okay. Any further discussion? No? If not, all those. Councillor Fernandez?
Just a quick question. How many members are we allowed to have on this? So people like Sandy Delamar, Sean Mathers, they didn't reapply. Is that my understanding?
They're still on there because it cycles through. They're on a split term.
Oh, yes, on 3 years. Okay. All right. Because I was just looking at some of the unassigned, and I wondered if we should be assigning, but we will be getting a whole new package of people who want to sit on that board next year then.
Yeah, there's always a revolving cycle dealing with renewals and all that kind of thing.
Okay.
And generally the board has a fairly comprehensive recruitment process, and we, with some of these external boards, we tend to go with their recommendation because they try to balance legal people and accounting people and various community people and so on.
I understand that from the whole Watson Gallery is the same
Yep.
situation. Okay, thanks.
Okay. So moved by Councillor Ioannidis, seconded by Councillor Galloway Seelock. All those in favour? Opposed? That's carried. We'll now move on to the Kitchener Downtown BIA, and I don't think we need to do anything. Well, I guess we need to just move myself, Councillor Etherington, and Marsh, or is that just automatic? It's automatic, so we don't need to do anything with that one. Okay, we'll now go to Kitchener Housing Board of Directors, and there is 2 members of council on that board. Councillor Ioannidis.
I'll move Councillor Etherington.
Okay, Councillor Etherington's been moved. Councillor Etherington.
I'll move Councillor Ioannidis.
Okay. Councillor Fernandez.
I'll move Councillor Davey.
Councillor Davies been moved. Councillor Davies declining. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Councillor Gazzola. Councillor Yanetsky. Okay. Any further nominations? Okay, so we have 3 people for 2 positions. So we can vote. So we have Councillor Etherington, Councillor Ioannidis. Hold on, though. Did Councillor Yanetsky? I don't think that was on his list. So, yeah. Just want to double check. Yeah, it was not. Yeah, and I'm just going to go back to. So I don't know, Councillor Gazzola, if we should, without him being able to say yes or no.
A number of other committees that he would have preferred to have been on, and he's been unsuccessful. And I know that he is very active and would, I think, would bring good value to this committee. And then he. Like I say, there are others that he'd have preferred to have been on. So, I guess in the worst case scenario that he can resign off of the committee if.
Is this a prescribed board of directors in terms of its size?
Yes, it is, because we used to have more members. At the last term of council, I stepped down to give out some other people an opportunity with the hopes that they would enlarge the number of councillors. And it's a decision that the board makes, the Kitchener Housing Board, and they turn that down. So.
Okay.
They're all volunteers.
No, I understand that. I'm struggling a little bit in terms of what to do with Councillor Yanetsky. I mean, I guess we can consider it, and if he gets selected, then we would have to, and he doesn't want to be there, he'd have to step down. So I will consider. Yeah, no. Oh, what he's been appointed to? Do you want to just share that?
Thus far, my records show Councillor Yanetsky being appointed to HK, Belmont BIA, and the Court of Revision, and we haven't yet gotten to Hydro, which was one of his other choices.
Okay. So you want to go ahead with that then? Okay. So counts. Okay. I have 3 other people that want to talk to this. So Councillor Marsh. No, Councillor Singh.
Yeah, no, that was helpful for Councillor Gazzola to reference the fact that he did, or there was a recommendation sent back to the board for the number of council members to be increased. And just because they turned it down last time doesn't mean the same recommendation can't be made again. So if failing, Councillor Yanetsky is not chosen, I would propose that council again recommend the same as before, hoping that they would think differently this time.
Okay. We can certainly pass that on. Councillor Fernandez?
Yeah, I just wanted to speak to the same. I think that with Councillor Yanetsky's background in planning and deep understanding of the expectations and the history of the city, that he may bring another perspective to this board.
Okay, so at this point, there are 3 names, and we can only vote for 2. Vote for 2 out of Etherington, Ioannidis, and Yanetsky.
Marsh votes for Ioannidis and Etherington. Schneider, Etherington, Ioannidis. Singh, Etherington, Ioannidis. Davy, Etherington, Ioannidis. Verbanovic, Etherington, Ioannidis. Galloway Seelock, Etherington, Yanetsky. Gazzola, Etherington, Yanetsky. Fernandez, Yanetsky, Etherington. Ioannidis, Etherington, Ioannidis. Etherington, Ioannidis, Etherington.
So that's Etherington and Ioannidis.
So the 2 are Etherington and Ioannidis, and I'll take a motion from Councillor Singh that we request again that Kitchener Housing Board of Directors consider a 3rd member of council, and if that's accepted, that be Councillor Yanetsky. Seconded by Councillor Davy. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Okay, we'll now move on to Kitchener Power Corp. Councillor Davy.
Thank you. I nominate Councillor Gazzola.
Okay. Councillor Etherington.
Nominate Councillor Singh.
Okay. Councillor Fernandez.
I nominate Councillor Yanetsky.
Okay. Any further nominations? If not, we can vote for 2 of 3. And apologies, we're then going to go back to Kitchener Housing because I forgot about the citizen reps.
Marsh votes for Gazzola and Singh. Singh, Gazzola, Singh. Etherington, Singh, Gazzola. Fernandez, Gazzola, Yanetsky. Gazzola, Gazzola Yanetsky. Ioannidis Gazzola Singh. Verbanovic Gazzola Singh. Galloway Seelock Gazzola Singh. Davy Gazzola Singh. Schneider Singh Yanetsky.
That's John Gazzola and Paul Singh.
Okay. We'll now go back to Kitchener Housing. And you'll note there is a memo from the from Kitchener Housing Board. Mike Sealing has been nominated to return. And they have also recommended Andrew Chin and Preet Kohli. So if we go ahead with those two, I'm trying to remember, do we need a notwithstanding on that, or did the only one apply to advisory committees?
I believe that a member can hold a position on an advisory committee and on a board.
Okay, so we don't need a notwithstanding on that if those are moved. No, we don't need to. Okay, Mike. We just, the rule is that we just need to be informed that he's a staff person. So does somebody want to move those three? Moved by Councillor Fernandez. Oh, sorry. Well, sorry, I missed you, but Councillor Fernandez has moved it. All those, it's seconded by Councillor Ioannidis. All those in favor, opposed, that's carried. We'll now move on to Kitchener Public Library Board, and we'll deal with members of council first. Oh, we have to ratify that, don't we? Thank you. So we need to ratify the recommendation, the report of the nominating committee, which is Dave Schnarr and Mark Jackson be nominated to the board of directors for Kitchener Power Corp. And the others are there for information. Moved by Councillor Ioannidis, seconded by Councillor Singh. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. We'll now move on to KPL. Councillor Singh.
Yeah, I nominate Councillor Marsh.
Okay. Councillor Davy.
I'll nominate Councillor Galloway Seelock.
Okay. Further nominations? If not, Councillor Fernandez.
I'll nominate myself.
Okay. Councillor Fernandez. Any further nominations? If not, then we have three people, Councillors Marsh, Galloway Seelock, and Fernandez.
Schneider votes for Galloway, Seelock, and Marsh. Gazzola, Marsh, Fernandez. Singh, Marsh, Galloway Sealock. Etherington, Marsh, Galloway Sealock. Marsh, Galloway Sealock. Ioannidis, Marsh, Galloway Sealock. Fernandez, Marsh. Verbanovic, Marsh, Galloway Sealock. Galloway Sealock, Marsh, Galloway Sealock. Davy, Marsh, Galloway Sealock.
That's Sarah Marsh and Kelly Galloway Sealock.
Okay, and we'll now move on to the memo from the Kitchener Public Library Board appointments, and the board is recommending the following people. The reappointment, we have a fair bit of change on the board this term. Tim Blunden, Wayne Buckholtz, Jackie McLaren, Aaron Rudland, Stephanie Tanner. And in addition to that, Kelly McManus, Harley Rashley Berry, Michelle Dow, and Corey Ernst. Councillor Fernandez.
I was a little bit concerned about Jessica Kropf. She's already on the downtown. I think we had.
They're allowed to sit on a advisory committee and on a board.
As an alternate, yeah, okay. Right. I'd remove Wayne, but I guess it's not very nice to do that.
Okay. Councillor Galloway Sealock.
Well, I'll move the recommendations from the library board, and unfortunately we'll have to call you out, Councillor Fernandez. Wayne Buchholz has been on the board now for 4 years and has contributed his expertise in the area as his former employment with the school board, and has been an invaluable asset to that. I understand that he ran against you in an election, but I think he's been a tremendous asset to the library board in that capacity, and would strongly recommend everyone to support the list that the library board has vetted.
Okay. Any further comments? Not. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. That's fine. Still carries. We'll now move on to the Aeronautical Noise Management. Sorry, Madam Clerk.
I just want to be clear that the list as carried does include the 2 alternates. I just want to make sure that.
Yes, sorry,
Okay.
I guess Jessica Kropf
sure.
and Catherine Andrews are alternates. I guess I didn't mention that earlier, my apologies. Everyone's clear on that? Okay. And a reminder that the library board is a 4-year term because it's actually required to be statutorily by the Libraries Act in that instance. So we'll now move on to the Aeronautical Noise Management Committee. And typically that has included the Ward 2 councillor, and then it's alternated between the Ward 1 and the Ward 3 councillors as the alternate. So I open the floor to nominations. Councillor Ioannidis, you were first on the list.
It was? Okay. I nominate Councillor-elect Schneider.
Okay. Councillor Galloway Sealock. Okay. And who are we nominating for the alternate? Do Councillors Davy and Gazzola want to arm wrestle for it? Do you want to be on the Noise Management Committee as the alternate, Councillor Gazzola, or do you want Councillor Davy to do it? It's a regional committee, but I'm sure. You do if you show up. Like you do if you show up and our regular voting member isn't there. Right. Okay, so it's Councillor Fernandez. You wanted to move somebody? No. Okay, so it is Councillor Schneider and then Councillor Gazzola as the alternate. Okay, we'll now move on to KWAG Board of Directors. Councillor Etherington.
Yeah, I wanted to come off this board. I would nominate Councillor-elect Sarah Marsh.
Okay, yes, sorry. That's fine. I'll come back to the citizens in a sec. So Councillor Marsh has been nominated for KWAG. I'll come. Okay, Councillor Marsh, you want to respond to that?
I would like to see if anybody else is interested in that, because I'm already on 4.
Okay. Yep. Councillor Gazzola, you want to nominate somebody?
I was going to nominate Councillor Fernandez.
Okay. Councillor Fernandez, do you accept?
No, I respectfully decline because I'd really like to stay on Homer Watson since it's in my ward.
I'm sorry, you're right. That's
okay. So, hold on, Councillor Singh.
Just the fact that Councillor Schneider has I guess, kind of an artistic background as well. Any interest or?
Not on this one. Sorry.
No? Okay. So, Councillor Marsh.
Well, it is in my ward, and I'm happy to. I'm very happy to and honored to take it on. Sure, thanks.
Okay. So, Councillor Marsh is our new rep on KW Art Gallery. The Grand River Hospital Board of Trustees, Councillor Singh. You clicked in.
Yes. No, I know. I was thinking.
Oh no. Sorry, before we go there, go back to aeronautical noise management. We have to do the citizen reps. Thank you to the clerk for her patience. There are 2, and there's 4 people there right now. Irene Dukum, Nathan Gwynn, John Nother, and Bill Smith. Councillor Gazzola.
Yeah, I'll move John Nother.
Okay, is there a second nominee? No? Anybody want to nominate a second person? And if we don't have a second, it means we'll have to advertise again. Councillor Fernandez? No.
Certainly we can put Nathan Gwynn on there, but we've already put him on property standards, so I'm a little bit worried about him being on 2 committees.
I mean, the airport noise management only meets 3 or 4 times a year, so it's not overly onerous.
I mean, the other applicants don't have any identifiers or any do we have any information on Bill Smith and Irene at all, besides what's on their applications? That's it, okay.
And Gary and Richard didn't reapply, is that correct? Okay. Kind of surprised that Gary Tomic didn't, but why don't we just go with 1 for now and we can re-advertise? Is people comfortable with that? Yeah. So we'll just go with John Nother for now, and we'll add in our list of those that are being re-advertised. Moved by Councillor Galloway-Seaclock, seconded by Councillor Fernandez. All those in favour? Opposed? That's carried. We'll now move back to Grand River Hospital Board of Trustees and Councillor Singh.
Yeah, I was going to say Councillor Fernandez. Nominate her if she wants it. It's a good one.
Councillor Fernandez?
I'm going to have to decline because I have a commitment at that time every Tuesday.
Okay. Councillor Marsh?
No, that was from before.
Councillor Ioannidis?
I nominate Councillor Ineski.
Okay. We could deal with it as we did the last one, and then I guess if he declines, then we can make an adjustment. Any further nominations? So it's Councillor Yanetsky. Homer Watson House Foundation. Okay. The meeting for Homer Watson Foundation is last Tuesday at 6, not Thursday. So if that can be updated. Councillor Singh?
Yeah, Councillor Fernandez.
Moving Councillor Fernandez. Okay. Any further nominations? If not, then it's Councillor Fernandez. Horticultural Society. You can just remind everybody as well when you are talking to make sure that and I'll pay attention as well that mics are on. I've had somebody who's watching remind me that sometimes people's mics haven't been on. So, anybody for Horticultural Society? Councillor Fernandez.
I'm going to nominate Councillor Gazzola.
Councillor Gazzola, do you want to be on the Horticultural Society? Are you declining? Look, you just hold on. Turn your mic. Wait. Turn your mic on. Sorry. Go ahead.
I will decline at this point, okay?
Okay. Are there further nominations? Councillor Etherington, since it's in your ward, would you consider taking it? Are you politely declining as well? Okay. Councillor Galloway Seelock. Anybody else want it? Okay, so it's Councillor Galloway Seelock. We'll now move on to Huron Natural Area. Councillor Galloway Seelock.
Oh, I nominate myself? That was on there from before.
Oh, okay. So
I nominate myself regardless.
Okay.
It's in my ward, so I would.
Okay. Councillor Singh.
Yeah, I'll nominate myself. It's right beside my ward.
Okay. Anybody else? Councillor Fernandez.
I'm going to nominate myself.
Okay, so there's 3. So there's 3 people going forward. Councillor Galloway Seelock, Councillor Singh, and Councillor Fernandez. Councillor Gazzola.
3 people on the committee?
Councillor Galloway Seelock.
It's possible, but we didn't meet in the last 4 years. So it's possible, but there is only 2 reps from each joint venture group. So we have 2 from the City of Kitchener, plus staff, but I believe staff don't actually vote. And then there's 2 reps from each board. And so I would be concerned to move forward with that just if there's 6 voting members and we're all equal partners, that if we had 1 extra City of Kitchener rep, that would be my concern from that perspective.
Councillor Singh?
Yeah, I'll withdraw.
Okay. So that leaves 2, which now is Councillor Galloway Seelock and Councillor Fernandez. Thank you. Kitchener and Bloom Committee. They have asked that we have a councillor on their committee. And Councillor Gazzola.
I move Councillor Singh.
Councillor Singh? The Kitchener and Bloom Committee. Okay. Any further nominations? Councillor Singh it is. Councillor Marsh.
I might remind Councillor Singh that he'll have to nominate a lot of gardens this year. That's
Asked, and that's why I nominated.
That's
wonderful.
what I figured why
That
you were
is
nominating him.
Wonderful.
Now he'll have an obligation to do even more. Okay, so let's move on to Multicultural Centre Board of Directors. Councillor Galloway Seelock.
And it's just because it's traditional, but it doesn't have to be accepted. I would move Councillor-elect Marsh just because it's in the word. But again, it's just the traditional way that it goes.
Are you okay with that? Anybody else want it? Yeah. It's only 1 meeting a year. It's not. Yeah. Well, there you go. You get credit for it. Perfect. Councillor Marsh it is. Oktoberfest Advisory Council. Councillor Singh.
Yeah, Councillor Ioannidis.
Councillor Gazzola.
I move Councillor Davy.
Councillor Ioannidis.
I was going to move Councillor-elect Schneider.
Okay. And Councillor Fernandez.
I'm going to move myself.
Okay. Do all four want to stay? Councillor Davy.
There's enough interest, I will withdraw.
Okay. So that leaves us with 3. So the 3 are Ioannidis, Schneider, and Fernandez.
Singh votes for Ioannidis Schneider. Etherington, Ioannidis Schneider. Davy, Schneider, Ioannidis. Gazzola, Fernandez, Schneider. Marsh, Schneider, Ioannidis. Ioannidis, Schneider, Ioannidis. Fernandez, Schneider. Verbanovic, Ioannidis, Fernandez. Galloway-Sealock, Schneider, Ioannidis. And Schneider, Ioannidis, Schneider.
That's Councillor Ioannidis and Councillor-elect Schneider.
Okay. We'll now move on to WLU Board of Governors. Councillor Galloway-Sealock.
I'll move myself.
Okay. Others? Councillor Gazzola.
Can I ask if there are any graduates of Laurier here?
I think Councillor Wannabe Chapman wants to be considered. Okay, anybody else? So, if not, Councillor Galloway-Sealock it is. So, I think, Madam Clerk, I have gone through everything, unless I'm missing any. Can you help me? That's all she wrote. And we're done at 3:46. We need somebody to move the bylaws. Moved by Councillor... no bylaws? No bylaws. Okay, we don't need to do bylaws. So, I mean, we just need to adjourn? Is that it? Perfect. Moved by Councillor Etherington, seconded by Councillor-elect Marsh. Just to share it around a little bit. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you, everybody. These lists will be ratified at our inaugural meeting on the 1st at 7:30.